Hello everyone, today we're going to be working on the first version of the utility shed in Autodesk Revit 2019. So the first thing we need to do is start a new project. So once you open Revit, this is the screen you see you create. You select new, make sure you start a architectural template and you're creating a project. So once Revit starts, you'll see it starts a blank file, so it's blank inside of here. We have Architecture tab, Structure, Steel, Systems, Insert, Annotate, Analyze, Massing and Site, Collaborate, View, Manage, Add-ins, Modify, all that. Most of what we're going to do is under the Architecture tab, and then the other ones are possibly in Analyze or Manage. You should also always have a properties menu here as well as a project browser. So the first thing we're actually going to do is over here on the project browser, level 1, we're going to change that. So you right click that and you click on rename. We're going to change that to floor. I'm going to use all capital. When you select that, something that did not show up for me just because I've already said do it always, is you always want to click yes, rename everything, so that way you see the ceiling plan. It also changed the floor. And then level 2, we want to rename that to roof, and again that will automatically update just because I've already selected that to do so. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in some walls. Alright, so we select the wall command. We can put them in one wall at a time or a rectangle. Our shed is going to be a 12 by 16 rectangle, so I'm going to choose the rectangle command. And at first, I'm going to put in a rectangle of random dimensions. All right. Then I zoom in and I see that the dimensions are going from the center line to the center line. All right, you see that from the center line to the center line. This is 24 feet from center to center. I don't want it to go from center to center. I want it to go from outside edge to outside edge. So I click on this grip point here and it moves to the inside. I click on it a couple times again and it moves it to the outside. So I want my dimensions to be to the outside. All right, there I go. You also notice that when I clicked on the right wall, the dimension showed up on the bottom wall. The reason for this is that when I move the right wall back and forth, you see how it changes that dimension at the bottom. All right, so when you want to change a dimension, you're not selecting the wall that the dimension is on, it's the wall that moves that changes the dimension. All right, so then I select here, and again, even though it's the left hand side, it's the top dimension. If I want to select the bottom wall, that's how I change the side dimension. So I click the grips to move them. And the other thing is, when I click off of it, the dimension disappears. I don't want that. I want to keep the dimension, so I click on the dimension and then click on that dimension symbol, and now I have permanent dimensions. So to change these or adjust these, I want these to be a 12 by 16, so I move it until I see the number 12 exactly, and then I move this until 28 I see a 16 exactly. Alright, there I go. To make sure that I have the walls oriented correctly, if I click on a wall, you see that this double arrow is on the outside. That indicates that the outside edge of my wall is on the outside. Alright, so I'm going to walk all the way around and make sure that all my walls are oriented the way they should be, and they are. Excellent. If they were not, I would click on this and that would move the outside to the other side, and that's how you toggle back and forth. Alright. So now I've got 4 walls in, but I didn't pay any attention to the height when I built these walls. So I'm going to go into 3D view, which is this little house icon up here. And now I see that they look way too big. I'm going to zoom in here. I can see that if this is 16 feet long, that's way more than 16 feet. I know that this object, this shed, I should only have walls that are 8 feet high, so I need to do something to fix this. So I'm going to go back into my floor plan, double click on floor plan. I'm going to hover over one wall until I see it highlight a little bit blue. I'm going to click the tab button to select all the walls, and then I'm going to click down. Now I'll go over into the properties, something we didn't pay attention to. I use something called a basic wall generic 8-inch. We're going to eventually change that, but what I really care about is the top constraint. I see that it is unconnected. I did not constrain it, and it's unconnected 20 feet tall. I have 20-foot high walls. I can double check this. If I go to the east elevation, if I double click on east, you see that my roof currently is set at 10 feet and the walls are twice as high. So the walls are way taller than they need to be. Go back to the floor plan, hover, nope, they're all selected still. And so I'm gonna change these from unconnected. I'm gonna constrain them, I'm gonna tie them into the roof elevation. So now this grays out and they're automatically 10 feet tall. I go back to my east elevation and I can see that they're now the same height as the roof. So now if I just adjust the roof elevation, so if I click here and I type in 8, now I do have walls that are all 8 feet tall, which is just what I wanted. All right, go back to my floor plan, go into the architecture tab. So I've got walls, now let's put in a floor. So click on floor. This time I will pay attention to the type of floor I put in. I don't want the floor generic 12-inch. I want a wood joist 10-inch with a wood finish. Now I start by selecting a wall. Here it automatically selected the outside edge, which is what I want, but if it automatically chooses the wrong wall, click on flip, and it flips which side of the wall it attaches to. So I do want the outside edge of all my walls, and I see as I go around, the pink line shows up on the outside edges, and we're good. So then I click on the green check mark to finish it, and there's my floor. Good. So now go back to 3D view. So I've got walls, and I've also got a floor. Good. Go back. Instead of going into the floor plan, floor plans for the floor, I'm going to go to floor plans for the roof. And you see this is grayed out. It's the walls and the floor show up, but they're grayed out. So now I want to put in a roof. So go into Architecture tab, Roof, and a few things. So first, I want a 1 foot overhang. Most roofs extend beyond the walls by at least 1 foot. And I do want a slope. Remember, this is a gable roof. And the type of roof is going to be a wood rafter 8-inch asphalt shingle insulated roof. So to make it a gable roof, 2 sides of my roof need to have a slope, 2 sides do not. So I'm going to choose the 2 long sides. And then to turn off the slope so that these other 2 sides do not have slope to it, I'm going to uncheck define slope. You see how these 2 sides have triangles that say 912, that indicates the slope. The pitch of the roof is a 912 roof. And then I select the next one, there's no triangle here, and then again there's no triangle there. Alright, so there's my roof, hit the check mark. I don't see my entire roof, it kind of cuts off a little bit here, and the way you can fix that is if you go over into properties, scroll down until, you have to click out of it, scroll down until you see extents, the view range. I'm not looking high enough, it's only looking up 4 feet. From the top of my walls up to the top of my roof is more than 4 feet, so I'm going to say I can go up to 7.5. I'll just go up 7, hit apply. Okay, now I see my entire roof. Go into 3D view, and things are looking good, except you see that the top of my wall is not extended. The wall matches up with the roof here, but not on my gable. So I need to extend my wall up to my roof, and so if I hover, tab, click, select all my walls, I'm going to attach top base. So I've already selected the base. Let's go ahead, attach my base to my roof. And then you see the wall goes all the way up. I can change the way this looks. Right now I'm looking at hidden view, so down here you see there's a cube looking thing, so I can select on that, change it to consistent colors. Still not a lot of detail, go to realistic. So now I can at least see that my roof has shingles, but my walls are very boring and bare. We're going to change that a little bit right now. You can change it a lot more in version 2. So if I select on one of my short walls, again, I told you at the beginning I didn't pay attention much to the type of wall, just a basic wall, generic 8-inch. Let's click on that. There's a ton of different options for different types of walls. If I go all the way up, I see that I want an exterior wall, because it is on the outside of the building, exterior brick on metal stud. So if I select that, You see that this is a thicker wall, so that's why the wall kicked out a little bit, but now I've got a brick finish on it. And that's actually as far as we're going to go for version 1. So go ahead, put your name on this work. Sorry. And take a screenshot and submit this. Make sure you save this file. So click on Save and put this in your U drive. So whatever, wherever you see first initial, last name with U at the end, make sure you save this in your U drive where you can find it later. All right, so this is it for version 1 of the utility shed.